of the things that we did last year, if you were with us last year, is that at the very end, I announced that it was not a fundraiser. This year, it will be different. I'm going to announce it now that it is still not a fundraiser. We're here to celebrate. We're here to celebrate. We won't be passing envelopes around each table. We didn't hire a professional auctioneer to pressure you to open up your checkbooks and your Venmo app or whatever it is that gets used nowadays. So you can sit back, relax, enjoy your time tonight. This is going to be a fun and great night. And because though this is not a fundraiser, the last time I checked, throwing a party this big was not free. And so we want to spend a little time to thank our sponsors here tonight. We'll start with the bronze sponsors. Somehow these bronze sponsors found a way to stretch their dollars to help what we believe and hopefully the community believes is a good cause, this event to bring people together. It's amazing what these companies are able to do with it for us. And then special thanks to our silver sponsors, many of which continue to support us year after year. And then special thanks to our gold sponsors, Electrical Production Services, thank you very much. Melker, Hubert, Shirley, thank you, and Old National Bank. Without all the sponsorships, without your help, we wouldn't be able to do this. And every year we seem to pack the room. Every year we seem to have to turn people away, waitlist them. And so next year we'll have to find a bigger venue. But it is amazing the turnout and amazing to see all the faces here to celebrate alongside us. So I want to begin by introducing somebody who wasn't even on the initial speaker list. We met by happenstance. Michael Gold just happened to be sitting next to one of our board members on a Delta flight about 3 months ago. And they got to talking, and come to find out, Michael moved back into our area from New York, and he expressed a desire to be more engaged in the community. I said, I might know a way to do that. And so Michael Gold, he is a professional jazz musician who started Jazz Impact to build and inspire individuals and teams to build trust, to cultivate leadership amongst their teams through the power of music. And so we're very, very fortunate to have Michael and his band here. Michael.
Thanks, Tommy. It's amazing to look here and see everybody so devoted to this. Jazz has been called America's classical music. It's also been called the imperfect art of improvisation. But it's rarely thought of as a metaphor for improving the way that we collaborate with each other. In 2000, I started a company that went on to do just that with companies all over the world. Imagine a classical symphony playing Beethoven's Fifth. All those musicians focused on a score, reading, working together. A score on which every musical idea was written in absolute detail by somebody, Ludwig van, who is no longer here. And it's conducted by a very charismatic conductor. Now, what would happen if all of a sudden those scores and that conductor disappeared, walked off the podium? What would happen? Well, of course, that never would happen. But that is exactly what's happening in that jazz ensemble. We are inventing music together in real time. We're not reading scores. Now, we're not reinventing the way music works. We're using the same language, the same theory, the same instruments as you find in an orchestra. But we are creating together in real time. We are essentially combining the roles of the composer, the conductor, and the instrumentalist into a new role, the role of the improviser. Now, are we creating Beethoven masterpieces? Of course we're not, but that isn't the point, because jazz is an art that speaks to the improvisational nature of human life. Now, the improvisational nature of life is not a comfortable idea for most managers and CEOs. They'd much rather have a symphony that churns out the masterpieces in absolute predictability. But we're all improvising. We're all improvising our way now through an extremely complicated world. And in fact, we always have been. So I traveled around the world with a great jazz band using a set of interpersonal dynamics to spark essential conversations about issues like trust, risk, and empathy. I created an acronym called APRIL: autonomy, passion, risk, innovation, listening. These are interpersonal skills that are essential to any collaboration, where the goal is to improve on what is, which is the literal meaning of the word improvisation. To improve on what is. Now, the reason this music, jazz, has been able to sustain itself for close to a century and a half is because at its core is a South African philosophy known as Ubuntu. Ubuntu simply means I am because we are. It suggests that a person's identity and well-being are deeply tied to the well-being of others. And that is not a leap of faith in the world of philanthropy. So I thank you very much for all of your efforts, and it's a real pleasure to be able to be a part of this. And I look forward to participating with you in the years to come. Thanks very much.
Okay, so story time. My wife and I, Heather, we entered into this new phase called empty nesting. And after 27 years of marriage, we decided to do something different to celebrate. Something that we've never done before, like spend 3 weeks on the road visiting some of the most beautiful landscapes and nature places there are. So we visited the Canadian national parks, Banff, Revelstoke, Yellowstone, Waterton Parks, and then we made our way to Glacier in Montana, and then we made our way all the way over to North Dakota to Theodore Roosevelt National Park, and it was just this unbelievable time in a camper, in a tiny camper for 3 weeks on the road. And I should tell you that Heather doesn't like to camp. And so I was, as you can imagine, I wasn't sure how this was going to go. But despite that, we found ourselves just unbelievably amazed This is us. We probably put on 50-something miles of hiking. This was up the Grinnell Glacier. We ended up jumping into the glacier-cooled Upper Grinnell Lake, which is, I think, colder than what we call the polar plunge here. So we got you guys beat for sure. One of the things that we wanted to do was, because we traveled so much, and we saw all these amazing landscapes, it gave me a lot of time to reflect on life. Family, friends, and what it really means to belong to a community. That trip reminded me that it's important to be part of a community like Carver County, a place that makes everyone feel welcome, supported, and valued. Carver County is more than just a place to live. It's a community where people care for each other. And we need to continue to build. We need to continue to develop more community builders. And so let's talk about our next two community builders. I first met Chris about 2 or so years ago through a mutual connection. In fact, we had a few beers on the patio right outside here talking about life. And it was very quick for me to realize that Chris truly understands what it means to build community. And then even better, a month or so ago, I had the pleasure of meeting his wonderful daughter, Emma. And her presence reinforced a belief that I had, that in order to build a strong community for our next generation, it doesn't happen by chance. It takes intentional effort. It takes active participation and a deep commitment to the community. And that's exactly what Chris and Emma do in their community. So let's welcome Chris and Emma.
Hello everyone. I'd like to start out by saying this was first 20 pages and then Kai told me to get rid of 18, so we listened. Thank you for the kind introduction. We're grateful for that. Grateful to see all the wonderful people in this room. And we're just grateful to be here to celebrate philanthropy and to also support the Community Foundation for Carver County. I've been fortunate to call this place home since 1996, raising my daughters here, building a business that served the people of Shasta for nearly 30 years. When I think about Carver County, what stands out is the strength of our communities. We aren't just neighbors, we're people who care about each other, and we all have a role to play in building a lasting legacy. My father-in-law, who's a retired estate planning attorney, once shared a story with me. He kept a list of local charities in his desk, and when a client was unsure about where to direct their philanthropic intentions, he'd help them choose 1 or 2 of the local charities from that list. Now, his client may not have had a direct connection to the charity itself, but that charity was connected to the community that he cared about, that his client cared about, and that charity served that community. And that's the point. You don't have to be an expert in nonprofit organizations or charitable needs within a community to take care of the place that we all call home. The Community Foundation for Carver County provides local charitable expertise and a broad understanding of our community needs. They're an organization that can help and support anyone who wants to pursue their own legacy here at home. To me, legacy planning is a call to action for all of us. Families, businesses, planning professionals, we are all called to be stewards of this community. Not just for the here and now, but also for our tomorrow. The Community Foundation for Carver County is designed to help us work towards that path together. Carver County and the communities within it are incredible. Places to put down roots, raise our families, and to know that we're just possibly part of something bigger than ourselves. In a world that's constantly changing, it's worth remembering that real legacy is built through relationships, through caring for your neighbors, and through supporting the community that we all love. So whether you've been here for 30 years like me, or your whole entire life like Bob, or I'm sure a bunch of other you sitting around in this room, or if you're new to this area, it's time for us all to think about legacy and what that means, and to start building that now. I'd like to introduce someone who knows just as well as I do what a special community this is. My daughter, Emma. Born and raised right here in Carver County, and she's just beginning to put down her roots.
Hello, thank you, Dad, and thank you all for being here tonight. Hi, my name is Emma Nelson. Like my dad said, I was born and raised just down the road here in Carver. I went to Clover Ridge Elementary and had my mom as my first and second grade teacher. I went to Chaska Middle School West, and then I graduated from Chanhassen High School in 2018. After that, I made a really big move to Chicago for college. Well, there's something that I noticed particularly about Minnesotans, that even despite the winters, everyone will tell you how much they love to call this place their home. Maybe it's the summers and the lakes. Maybe it's because we're all so dang Minnesota nice. And while I do love these things, for me, the reason that I love Minnesota, and this community especially, is because of the genuine relationships and sense of belonging that I have found. And ultimately, this is what brought me back home. Since graduating college and moving back here, I joined my dad's team as his junior advisor. And something that I've learned since starting my career here in Chaska and working with many of our amazing clients is that building community isn't just about the big donations and large gestures. Although those are nice, it's also about the small, consistent ways that we show up for each other. For example, when we rally around those who are experiencing life's darkest hours. My family has experienced this deep level of generosity from this community, as I'm sure many of you have as well. Now, as someone who grew up here and hopes to raise a family here in the future, I have come to realize the importance of giving back. The business of legacy through building community really is everyone's business. And now it's our turn to continue that work, to ensure that future generations can experience the same sense of belonging and connection that we all have been so fortunate enough to find here in Carver County. So thank you again for your support and for being a part of something bigger than all of us. Together, we can build a legacy that will last for generations.
time to give you just a quick glimpse into what a community foundation is and what we actually do. It's super simple. We engage the community. We build community by bringing people together, by convening people and really helping to understand what the needs are within each of our communities. And by connecting the resources that we already have in our community to the people who need it the most. That's why we do what we do. And we're dedicated to embracing new opportunities that give us the opportunity to grow and to develop, to become an even better and bigger and more welcoming community. This is who we are. We have a number of volunteer board members. As I call your name, please stand up so we can thank you properly. Donna Stacken, our board chair. David Austin. Greg Davies. Greg, what are you doing? Dwayne Hubert. Kevin Heckman. Laura Helmer, Laura, thank you. Dean Rogers, Dean, thank you. Jessica Kosselmeyer, our official photographer, thank you. And Jason wanted to be here, but one of his daughters had a volleyball game, and apparently family comes before the party, so I guess we can't alter too much. So I want to introduce our board chair, Donna Stacken, to say a few words.
I don't think I've ever talked in front of this many people before, so you have to forgive me for stuttering or anything. But some of you may or may not know this, but I like to cook and I like to bake. My grandma was an excellent cook. Even her mashed potatoes tasted better than I've ever had. I had to ask my mom once why I couldn't replicate my grandma's recipes and make things taste like she did. And my mom would say, well, she follows a recipe, Donna, you usually don't. But Grandma followed recipes exactly as they were written, and that lots of butter helped too. Community foundations are a little bit like Grandma's cooking. Sometimes cooking and baking can be a slow, hard, messy process. And sometimes the decision just to give or set up a legacy fund can be the same. Grandma knew that if she skipped an ingredient or changed the amount, the end result wasn't going to be what she wanted. That's why she followed the recipe. Community Giving and the Community Foundation for Carver County have the recipe, the list and the amount of ingredients, and the exact directions to attain the best fund and experience for that specific donor. Now, depending on what Grandma was making and for what occasion, she might give it a personal touch, making it look extra delicious by a little extra whipped cream on top of the dessert, maybe some extra butter in those mashed potatoes. Or she used one of her fancy dishes to make it really nice for her honored guests. This is where the satisfaction comes in. Just like Grandma's dishes, the Community Foundation for Carver County can meet the specific and unique needs of the places and people we serve. We can help with the education, the services, the management of assets, and the long-term legacy that so many in this room desire in order to support the community that they love. But the end result is really what matters the most. My grandma was a widow for over 30 years and often said that eating alone was the hardest and the saddest thing. That's why she often invited people over for coffee, for supper, or just to visit. Grandma believed in community. Community doesn't happen in seclusion. It happens in unison. Is community present at the end of your driveway? Is it present at the end of your neighbor's driveway? Let's take this evening as an invitation to follow my grandma's lead. Follow the recipe for a successful community. Follow the recipe because it's the right thing to do. Because when we follow the recipe and work together, we can accomplish wonderful and delicious things. So if you or someone you know has an interest in philanthropy or legacy giving, please contact one of our board members that you were just introduced to. Also, if you have any interest in being a board member for the Community Foundation, please let us know as well. We are always seeking more people to join us so we can build community and make it stronger than ever. So thank you.
So, what does a community foundation exactly do? At the very heart of it, it's very simple. We help people plan their giving. That's what we do. And by people, we're talking individuals, groups, companies, support their community by creating a donor advised fund or a corporate advised fund or a special project fund or a scholarship or a legacy gift. But through all of that, I get excited when I talk about the Community Foundation. Every donated dollar, every volunteer hour goes straight back into our community. And a lot of the things that we do, a lot of things that the community needs does involve money. And so that's one of the things that we are very fortunate to be able to do is to give back into the community via financial resources. When the Community Foundation started 20 years ago, since then we've given over $500 million into Carter County. And while that may seem like a significant sum, it pales in comparison to the actual need. Earlier this year, we created a new grant round called the Carter County Difference Maker Grant. And we didn't know how many nonprofits, how many charities would submit applications. Well, 23 organizations that serve into Carter County submitted applications for a total request of over $110,000. That's the need, that's a part of the need that we're seeing. And unfortunately, in our first year, we were only able to give out $10,000. And while that may seem like a small amount, every dollar counts. And even something that's small matters. What may seem small to us may mean the world to someone else. And so, what I want to do is introduce the award, the grant recipients, and have them tell their story. Our first recipient, Gather and Grow. I'd like to introduce Angie Kuzin, the executive director, and Carla Golden, one of their clients. Come up and tell a little bit about the organization, the program, and the impact that they've had in our community.
Hello. I told Kai to get the roast to it, can't talk too long, so I'll be fast. I am the executive director of Gather and Grow Food Shelf and Connection Center, and we have been in Waconia for over 20 years, actually originally Waconia United Food Shelf, and through that time we've rebranded and grown significantly. Last month, out of our 2 sites, we have helped 580 families get food and household items and personal care items. And so we assumed operations at the Watertop site in April of this year. And so part of this grant, or all of this grant, is going towards really remodeling and revisioning that site. So currently, people could go online, place an order for groceries, and they'd stay in their car. They would not get to choose the food. Really small options for fresh produce, healthy focus, right? And so they get wheeled the food to their car, and that's an option, and that provides some privacy, and we definitely have some shoppers that prefer that. My vision and what we've been able to do in Waconia is provide that dignity of choosing your own food, just like all of us do when we go into the grocery store. And so through this grant, we have expanded into, we're in Watertown City Hall, and so they have partnered with us in amazing ways. They're letting us expand into their kitchen area, and so we have painted the walls, and we're getting signage that's bilingual and very bright and welcoming. We purchased shelving that's on wheels, because when the kitchen's rented for birthday parties and weddings, you have to wheel it all back in. But it'll be mostly out there for the most part, unless it's rented. And then we're stocking the shelves with everything. And so we actually just printed the flyers today. We're gonna have an open house on October 9th, 5:30 to 7:30 at the Watertown site. So I will definitely make sure the foundation knows that we would love to show you where the money is. And huge, that's one of our values at Gather and Grow, is being good stewards of the donations that we receive and being transparent, right? This is where it went. And so we're really, really excited. We're basically creating a food shelf in the Watertown site, so it's been amazing. And then part of that is, this is hard work, and I love this room, and I love the energy in it. Being an executive director of a nonprofit is endless. There's 20 different problems I can solve in one day and 20 more the next. And so Carla and her story is why I keep going, and it touches my heart, and I am so honored and proud to have her. Neither of us knew the room was going to be this full, so just smile at us. But I am so proud and honored to introduce Carla to you all to share a little bit of her story.
Thank you so much for your kind invitation to be part of this gathering. It is a privilege to be here this evening and to recognize and celebrate all the people and organizations who are doing so many good things in our Carver County communities. And it's an honor to share with you my story of how the Waconia Gather and Grow Food Shelf has made a positive impact on my life. And as Angie introduced me, my name is Carla Golden. I've been a Waconia resident for just over 23 years, and I have 3 children. 2 of them graduated from Waconia High School, and the youngest is in middle school. We have loved living in this community and truly feel at home here. In October 2021, our family's life changed drastically and unexpectedly. I was faced with huge financial, legal, and other challenges. I was scared and uncertain about the future. I did not know how I would provide for myself and my kids. Friends and family came alongside to support us as we navigated difficult and painful changes. Several friends urged me to use the resources available to me in the community. My friend Kim recommended Gather and Grow. Overcoming my initial shame and reluctance was difficult. I had my own ideas about who should use the food shelf, and I did not fit the description I had in my mind. I put off a decision for several months, but as my expenses mounted, I finally gave in and went to sign up one afternoon. I didn't tell my kids where I was going. From the moment I walked in, I knew that this was not a place of shame or just a handout. The shopping space was clean and bright, and it felt more like a small-town grocery store than a charity food pantry. Volunteers welcomed me and helped me with the intake process. I was impressed that I got to choose the food for our family myself, and I wasn't just handed a bag of items someone else had picked up. And most importantly, I was not made to feel less than at any time. visits to Gather and Grow, I noticed some of the resource opportunities they were advertising. I signed up for a free oil change for my car. I also saw a poster for an employment strategies class. I needed a job desperately, and my resume was almost 20 years out of date. I signed up and attended the first of 4 evening class sessions in the year 2022. Rita, an HR professional, helped all of us in identifying transferable skills, creating a resume, and preparing for an interview. My confidence grew as I worked to fine-tune that resume. By the end of the 4th class, I had used it to apply for and get an interview. I didn't get that job, but I kept trying. In June, I interviewed again, and in July, I was offered a full-time job in customer service at a local manufacturing company. 2 years later, I continued to work at the same company in a new department. I'm able to provide for my family, pay my mortgage and utility bills, and give back to others who are in need. As I reflect on those facts, I am filled with gratitude for Angie Cruzen and her organization. Gather and Grow provided more than just basic necessities. They offered opportunities to get myself out of a difficult situation through education, encouragement, and a course of action that led to employment. Gather and Grow truly fulfills its mission of providing healthy food while empowering the people they serve to make positive changes in their lives. Thank you.
Our next grant recipient, Mikasa, I've known Mary Hernandez, Executive Director for probably too long now. And then Kevin Garcia will be up here as well to talk about the program.
Thank you, Connie. I'm so excited that you're all here celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. Yay! My name is Mary Hernandez, and I'm one of 6 founders of Mikasa. Mikasa specifically focuses on the Latino community and empowering our youth. Our backbone, our strength is our youth. As you will hear Kevin tonight, I will be reading some of my notes, and as we stand united with the foundation and our missions, today we ask that you remember this. Every action we take and every effort we make brings us closer to a brighter, healthier, stronger future for all of us that live in Carver County. By everyone working together, not only do we harness our strength to build a community where everyone thrives, but where everybody's dream is attainable and reachable. This summer, through our sports and mentorship programs, we sparked our Latino youth. We empowered 112 students during a 5-week initiative that the main focus is mental health. But not only that, but a strong sense of belonging. If you belong to your community, you will take care of your community and you will give back. Not only did we see our youth involved, but the parent engagement and participation blew our minds out. It was fantastic. With that said, through the partnership of the foundation, we were able to host again at Charleston High School, Minnesota United, which brought in their Latino players and created dreams for our students. It was incredible to see the eyes of our students represented themselves in the soccer players. With the support of our community and the foundation of the Carver County Grant, we built confidence, teamwork, resilience for our next generation. We cannot thank you enough, Community Foundation, for helping us make our dreams come true. For we know that if we stand together, we are unstoppable. And we know that at Mikasa, every child is a champion. It is with a great honor that I introduce Kevin Garcia. He He's a junior at Orchestra High School, and he will share a little about his experience working at Mi Casa Lunches. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. I'm a little nervous, I have to be honest. Big people, I was like, okay, when I tell like, okay, there's a lot of fancy people over here wearing shoes and stuff. I look weird, you know. It's whatever, you know. I've been volunteering for Mi Casa for 4 years now. And that's been a big impact in the Latino community because even myself, as a Latino, I was born and raised in Chaska. They do a lot of support with school, with food, because of the food shelter here in Chaska with Bountiful Baskets. I help with there a lot. The Mi Casa Legends is a good resource for kids to have fun and to be themselves. I was a coach for there for 3 years. I'm still going to continue being a coach because I love the kids a lot. I like winning them. They like to do a lot from seeing them, their point of view. There's a lot of people that their space for soccer, and that's like the only resource that can actually relieve their mental health, be happy for them. The other reason of it is that when the Minnesota United players came over here, it was all Latinos and there was like a lot of places that they could say like, oh, I can relate to this place, like Puerto Rico, Mexico, Colombia, that they could see like, oh, they're from our same place, from the same país, but they're better, they executed their life better on this way, and they can too. So, yeah. All right, thank you.
Our third grant recipient, My Health for Teens and Young Adults. Connie Robertson is their Director of Clinical Services, and Ada Lopez, one of their clients.
Well, thank you very much for having us here, and thank you so much for the generosity from the foundation. My Health is a nonprofit, and we are located in Hopkins, but serve Western Hedman, Scott, and Carver County. We're an essential community provider for the state of Minnesota, and what that means is we turn no one away for inability to pay. So we have a budget where we give away $1 million in uncompensated health care a year. So this really helps provide a service that we've been doing out here in Carver County for probably over 6 years. So I'm the clinic director, Connie Robertson, and also your local traveling nurse. And at My Health, we provide primary care and mental health services and education for youth and young adults ages 12 to 26. So we just got done a sports physical season. Let me tell you, it was crazy. We did so many sports physicals and vaccines, it was unbelievable. We have an on-site dispensary, so all medications are at no cost for clients, whether they have insurance or not. We give away a lot of free EpiPens, inhalers, antibiotics, birth control, whatever it is that a young person or family needs for their kiddos. And some people can't make it to the clinic. Some people can. And so we started a traveling nurse program. I am a resident of Chaska for the last 19 years, so this is very near and dear to my heart because this is my community. These are my people. These are my friends. These are my family. These are my neighbors. How do we get them the care that they need when they can't get it? We all know transportation is a huge barrier for healthcare, for anything. And the farther west you go, the more of a service desert we enter into. You go to downtown Minneapolis, St. Paul, there are tons of resources. There are all kinds of resources. The farther west you go, they become thinner, and it's harder to access that care. Transportation and bus lines aren't as accessible. So how do we bring that care there? Well, some of you, many of you in this room, probably remember Little House on the Prairie. Doc Baker. I am the registered nurse, Doc Baker. I have my black bag, and I go door to door providing medical services to folks in Carver County ages 12 to 26, and some other. Ada and her husband have both received care from me in their home. I'm actually going to do some flu vaccines in the next week, and get them services that they sometimes can access and sometimes they can't. I have been able to, and my other nurses have been able to provide care partnering with Beyond New Beginnings and New Beginnings right here in the town that are working with young moms that need health care, need family planning resources, and so we're able to go right into their home. And can I just tell you what an honor and a privilege it is to be invited into someone's home, to have that trust that I can come in there and give them the care that they need. These folks have a nurse in their pocket. When they need something, all they have to do is send a text to their nurse, and she answers that question pretty fast. Even when I'm on vacation, right? And they're able to get the medical care they need. I'll be honest with you, in the healthcare world that I live in, I can never just text my nurse and get an answer, or text my provider. When I go out and do traveling nursing in homes, I have a nurse practitioner that's on call that will do a virtual visit with a client that needs that medical care and that provider, whether they can afford it or not. Some of our clients that I do traveling nursing with out here in Carver County have insurance, but a lot of them don't. And that is a huge barrier to care, and it's a huge stress where you're gonna wonder, am I gonna get a big bill for the care that I got? Am I gonna get a prescription and not be able to go fill it? But the traveling nurses in this program that this foundation is supporting are providing that care, those medications, and those services at no cost. And at the same time, we're connecting them to other resources that our clinic has. And the number one resource we connect them with also is mental health services. They can access a mental health provider from My Health if they want to drive to a clinic, or they can do it virtually from their home. And they can do it whether they can afford it or not. At My Health, all of the care we provide, if you can't afford it, you get it at no cost if you need it. And we like to do that with dignity. What that means is you don't have to prove it to us that you can't afford it. If you say, I can't afford that, okay. We work with organizations like this foundation to provide that care so that everyone is getting the health care that they need. If you need an inhaler, we're gonna get that for you. If you need an EpiPen, we're gonna get that for you. If you're worried about getting pregnant, we're gonna help you figure out how not to get pregnant. If you're worried about getting care for your kids, we're gonna help you get connected to resources in our community that are gonna do that for you. When you talk about community engagement, this is community engagement. You all are community engagement. I can't do, and my staff, my nurses, providers, therapists, they can't do any of the work that we would love to do for our people without this community engagement. So, I'd like to introduce one of my long-standing clients, Ada. She's going to share just a little bit about the work we've done with her and what it means to her.
Hi, my name's Ada. I didn't think that's going to be a big crowd, so if you see me hold my plushie, that's because I'm stage fright. So then again, I am Ada. I've been going to the clinic since I was 19 years old. And when I first heard about the clinic, it was with my sister-in-law. I have my husband here with me because he's the one that's been taking me to the clinic for my appointments for therapy. And Connie here, she's been giving me my shots for Depo, which is a birth control. And at the clinic, it's very beautiful there. The staff there are so amazing that they will have respect. If you want to talk to them about something, and if you have someone else in the room, they will let the person know if they can stay or whether they can leave. And I love Connie. She's like, I just love her so much. She's like the nicest person. And she's always made me feel welcome. staff, the nurses there, because they're really sweet and amazing.
Just so you all know, each and every one of you now has a nurse in your pocket. If you know someone who has a need, feel free to reach out.
Thank you so much to Carla and Kevin and Rita for sharing your stories with us. And thank you to Gather and Grow and Mikasa and My Health and all of our community partners out there doing the hard work every single day. It is hard work, and so we thank them for it. And now we get to give out a few awards. It's going to get hectic in here. So one of the things that we started a couple years ago, actually just last year, was this award in philanthropy. And what does it mean? What is it for? You'll get that flavor here. Donna, if you could help me with this next section. Our first honoree tonight is quite the talker. At least about certain things. History things. And if you ask him anything about Laconia, be prepared for a very deep dive. I fish Lake Laconia pretty often. And out of curiosity, I brought up Coney Island during one of our lunches. And let's just say the lunch turned into a 2-hour history lesson. But history isn't all that Paul Melkert is known for. After practicing law for over 60 years and countless hours of pro bono work, he continues to serve in his community, and Laconia is so fortunate to have Paul Melkert.
I was born in Myrtle, South Dakota. My dad was born on a farm 3 miles southeast of Laconia, and my mother was born on a farm 5 miles southeast of Laconia. We actually moved back to Minnesota when I was a sophomore in high school. When we lived on one side of the alley and the county attorney on the other side. For some reason, I was like 7 years old, and I decided I wanted to be a lawyer. And so all this, I just always had that in my mind. When I was 16, they had a 4-H video speaking contest. Learning to live in my community was the topic, and then actually gave my speech on CCO radio. They had a banquet, I got to sit next to Governor Anderson. Being a lawyer gives you certain inside track on certain things. I prepared and had signed the Articles of Incorporation for the Laconia Chamber of Commerce, and I was the first secretary, and then I was on the board several times, and then in 92 and 93 I was the president of it. In 83 I started the Laconia Heritage Association, and then in 86 we published both the Paradise and Northwest, the town and its people. So the goal was to publish the history, and all the history of Laconia is published. The City Parks Department, one time kind of surprised me, they put a gazebo on, said Paul Melkert gazebo for community service. I just always loved the Laconia community, and I wanted to do whatever I could for it. The Yellowstone Trail used to run on the east and southeast edge of Lake Laconia and down Main Street, all past the fairgrounds and on the Yellowstone. Getting that history out there permanently is one of the things we're trying to finish off with the Carver County Parks. One of the things I feel good about is the start of nickel days. We were going to have a nickel promotion for that for 5 cents. We got all the bars to agree to sell beer for a nickel on that day. We contacted the 3 church ladies groups. They did this the first 2 years. So on First Street, Main Street, sold sloppy joes for a nickel, and still ordered and still brings about 30,000 people to town. When you do something like that, you just feel good that, God, I wanted to do this in front of the community, and I did it. And living in Lake Waconia is the fourth best lake out of 11,291 in the whole state. We lived there, got a nice home, kids, the family. We have, like the 4th of July, we have 40 people here. It's like a family reunion every year. If they want the next generation to have the achievements that we have had and the privileges we have had and the community we have, they gotta get on board. Because it just doesn't happen. I mean, you gotta want something and get it, and I think we got it here now. Paradise in the Northwest, this song, the blue and red book, says Waconia, Paradise in the Northwest. It's a high standard, right? I did a lot of research in trying to write this speech that I would then give orally, but learning to live in my community, and learning to live in my community made me really delve into it and find, what is community? I mean, first of all, well, community is a group of people with a common cause, right? So I would encourage everyone to become involved in the community on that, because you'll be happy and your community a lot better. And I would like to match Waconia against any community anywhere as being just a great place with good people. If I had to rerun my life, I don't know one plastic thing I'd change. It's been a good run.
So Paul, you can come up and say a few words. Only if you promise not to talk about the Yellowstone Trail. Thanks, Paul.
Lovely ladies, handsome gentlemen, all of you, thank you so much for being here tonight as we celebrate philanthropy. It's a celebration that I hope continues the rest of your lifetime, the rest of my lifetime, that we celebrate philanthropy. Now, the video that was shown really kind of says it all. I just almost feel like setting John and going on to the next person, but since I am up here, I want to say a few words. And that because I think it's so important that we support philanthropy, is that when it comes to philanthropy, and just what does philanthropy mean? Like in every other situation, when I want to know the meaning of a word, I turn where else but to Webster's Dictionary. So what does Webster's Dictionary have to say about philanthropy? It describes philanthropy and defines it as 1, goodwill to fellow men. 2, loving people. 3, active effort to promote human welfare. 4, dispensing and receiving those funds set aside for humanitarian purposes. And 5, compassion for others. And I honestly believe that those 3 words, as far as I'm concerned, compassion for others, cover everything. In fact, for me personally, there are 5 words in the English language that I hope govern my life. They are praise God and compassion for others. I don't know how I can do more than do that. And so, philanthropy, I hope we continue to celebrate because it is a fantastic thing. Philanthropy can be a giving of time, money, or goods. If you volunteer at the local food shelf, you are a philanthropist. If you give money to the your church or send a check to the American Red Cross, you are a philanthropist. If you go to Goodwill and give a bag of clothing, or if you put a $10 bill in in the pot for Salvation Army. You are a philanthropist. So there's so many ways you can be a philanthropist. I know the word philanthropist sounds like, what's that's all about. In fact, I used to think when I heard the word philanthropist that we were talking about Bill and Melissa Gates or Cargill Corporation giving millions and millions of dollars to worthy causes. But there is power in numbers. Like if everyone here tonight gave $50 tonight to a common cause, we'd have like $15,000. If everyone here tonight would give $50 a month for 12 months, we'd have $180,000 for a great cause. Each and every one of you here tonight is a philanthropist, and I welcome you and congratulate you and celebrate you for being philanthropists. Because when I first hear the word philanthropist, I used to think about Bill and Melissa Gates and corporations that get more money than we will ever see in that. But as I stated before, the main words in my life are praise God and having compassion for others. Compassion for others. So simple. 3 words. I apologize for repeating it over and over. Compassion for others. I hope to continue to have compassion for others. I hope you have compassion for others. We as citizens of the United States are members of the greatest society that has ever existed in humankind. But we still have people that have living in poverty. We still have people who have health and mental challenges. We still experience racism. We still experience violence. The violence, when you read the morning paper, you read the front page, you're almost scared to read that plastic thing because it's talking about who just shot who and everything else. We've been a long way together. We've gone a long way for the good, a long way for philanthropy, but we can't stop now. So I ask each and every one of you, you must believe in celebrating philanthropy, or you wouldn't be here. And all I ask you tonight is that you continue on that same roadway. And then I just want to close, and my time has run out. But my 2 favorite sayings are, that one is Edward Burke. The only way for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. And the second one is by that great author, Anonymous. Anonymous says, whatever I do, Lord, let me do good, for I shall not pass this way again. I know I'm getting pretty serious on that, but I wish only that I can do good. I hope all of that you do good, because we are all mortal. We will not pass this way again. So thank you so very, very much for being here tonight. And I again urge you to have compassion for others. In fact, why don't you all just one more time? Compassion for others! Compassion for others. Thank you so much for being here.
You didn't see that one coming, huh, Paul? So our next recipient, I had the pleasure of sitting down with Kim and Jessa, who is not here with you. I had the pleasure of sitting down with Kim and Jessa to explore what makes McAdoo's so special. We talked about McAdoo's, but what makes it so special? As we were doing our video interview at the Waconia store, it immediately became clear to me, despite the modern design, it just felt like home. It just felt like home. A place where people gather, they catch up, they interrupt the video interview to say hi to Kim or Jessica. It's a place to connect. And the thing I don't get, I don't understand how they have been able to create this welcoming space. They've transformed food shopping into a community event. And so every town needs an act of this. Kim, Jamie, please come up. Oh, I'm sorry, the video.
Well, our business goes back an awful long way. I worked with my grandfather and my dad, but I always heard about my great-grandfather, who I never knew. I asked my grandpa, when did great-grandpa really start the business? It says on our building here since 1917, but when I asked my grandpa about great-grandpa, he said he actually started around the turn of the century. And as researched by Minnesota Grocers Association, even if we just go back to 1917, we are the oldest grocery company in the state of Minnesota today. I do remember hearing that back in the 30s, the Depression and other else, there was not a family in all of the company that ever went hungry. My grandfather made sure they had what they needed for their family. Some examples. I think that Jamie and Jessica see my passion for not only building the business here and the employees and the customers and the communities we serve, what else? The big pot.
Well, I started cashiering at the store when we were in downtown Waconia.
I will say that, Jamie and Jessica, my God, they're going to be better at this than I ever was. They are so sharp and so good, and times have changed so much. For me to try to keep up to the technology and all, that's Jessica's. Jessica can do it, and Jamie is one of the best operations people I've seen in the industry. Lori and I, my wife and I, are so blessed to have two kids that have passion, number one, and are as good as what they do, and will serve our store, our employees, and our communities.
Our skills are very different. He's a lot more involved in more of the day-to-day, on the floor, ordering, planning out ads, doing those types of things, which I'm not as good at.
We always want to leave Waconia better than what we got here. I think we try to lead by example.
We help support the local food shelves on a daily basis, and last year it was around 100,000. Other organizations and stuff, it was around 50,000. So I was like, well, what does that even equate to? I'm not really sure, because it's not why we do it. We do it because it's the right thing to participate in our communities.
I love working in the community. Our local chamber of commerce is one of the best in the state as far as I'm concerned. We're just involved with everything they do. And even at my age, I'll be on every committee I can possibly be on. I just like being involved.
Personally, I serve on the Backyard Wishes board. What we do is we help support local families who maybe aren't able to help their kid pay for show choir or football. All kids can participate, and that's what we help support. I would say a large percentage of our employees are in some way, shape, or form involved in the community. That's a big part of who they are. I think that it's important for us to make sure that we're taking care of our communities that we're in right now. We're only as strong as the community that we serve. We have a huge responsibility to give back to that community and help support them. There's a huge value overall to support the schools, the hospitals, the nonprofits. We do a big hunger campaign where we've partnered with local schools, daycares, organizations like that, and we ask them to collect groceries or money, and then we take a large group of our employees and go from school to school to school and pick up all of these groceries, and then we split it up and deliver to each of the food shelves.
Just try it once and see if you don't really get more out of it than you put into it.
Stay involved, get into your communities, find out what the needs are, listen to your customers and your employees. I think it all starts there. You just grow. you get involved and be a part of the communities that you're in. It's important because that's what makes a community. I think if you don't engage in your community, then why are you in business there?
Wow, thank you for letting us follow Paul. That was phenomenal. Really appreciate it. So when we were told that we were getting this award and we had to speak for so long, I'm like, okay, so what if the first person doesn't have much to say? I should probably get it a lot up there and just be able to talk. So I wrote a lot down and hear it. And then I found out it was Paul that was following. So for me, do that. So the second one, and I'm following Paul. Well, I should probably start with a joke. But I don't really know many jokes. But every Thursday at a local golf course, I get told a joke on the first tee box. So, and I thought about it, it's probably not appropriate for this situation. So then I thought about the week before, yeah, that one's probably not appropriate either. But thanks, Tom, for trying. Appreciate it. So, when I had to go to work today, I'm like, gosh, I'll write something down, and so I don't make a total fool out of myself up here. So, but first off, I'd like to thank Team Helpers for nominating us for this award. It's an honor to be here and share the stage with Bob and Paul. Jess and I are fifth generation grocers, like you heard in this. My dad up here with us is fourth. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our grandparents and our dad and all that. So, like we said, we've been around since 1917. It's pretty cool. I appreciate the opportunity to continue the family business that my great-grandparents started. But again, at Back News, our employees and customers are our first focus, not the grocery selection or variety. Food is what brings people through the front doors, but the sense of community is where we provide that many of our corporate competitors can't. My family and employees do this by following our simple vision. And our vision is we build relationships for our customers, our vendors, and our employees. We provide fair and honest treatment for the same people. We create memorable moments for the same people. And also in promoting health and wellness, of course, with indulgence. And of course, none of this could be done if it wasn't for all of our awesome employees that we have. We have some of them here with us today. Appreciate all you guys for being here and my wife. So thank you guys all, and I'm going to turn it over to my dad. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jamie. You did a great job. Covered most everything for me, for sure. And Diane Foundation, thank you for this great honor. It is something. And again, Paul, Bob, congratulations to you too. This is really great. Philanthropy. Hell, when I was growing up, and I never knew what that word was. And thank God that Paul still has a dictionary that my kid always wanted me to use Google nowadays, but you still have a dictionary. Good for you. But I don't know, philanthropy is a fancy name for what we should all be doing all the time, I think. That's what I was born and raised with. That's what my grandpa taught me to do. I got to work. I was blessed to work with my grandpa, dad, and my kid, Jimmy. That's what we always did. Like I said in the film, and I was told over and over again that back in the Depression, nobody in town went hungry. And my grandfather never got paid for it, but he didn't care. It was what we did back in those days. And so, my great-grandfather started, my grandfather did, I learned it from my dad, and now Jamie, Justin, and I are all doing it. And it's just the right thing to do, and I think it's got to be part of our DNA. So, proud to be here. Thank you.
Well, looks like you're all getting a good workout. Just standing up here. That's good. So, if you were here last year, not here, out of the blue, but if you were with us last year at our inaugural celebration, the program went a little long, and some people blamed me for it because, well, I like to talk. And so, this year, though, no one can blame me because our next honoree is Bob. Is Bob here yet? I know he's a little late sometimes, but oh wait, here he is. Here he is. I've known Bob now since 2008, and if there's one word that best describes Bob, I believe it should be persistence. Bob has done so much for Chaska and the entire county, but I think he's good at it because I think he just wears people down. I do love you, Bob. And it is an amazing, amazing partnership that one person has with an entire community. And there's very few things that will keep Bob down. Not even a heart attack. Thank you to Gina for starting his heart again not too long ago so that Bob can continue to serve our community.
Grew up in Chaska. It was a small town, a couple thousand people. When I was a young kid, we did all the things you can imagine. We called ourselves the Ash Street Boys. A number of us grew up together on Ash Street, downtown Chaska. This is Warren Bush, Gary Schneider, and myself on graduation day back in 1964. We were all just really good friends, and we rooted in the values of a small town. When I grew up, Chaska was made up of a lot of grid blocks, and it didn't make any difference. The richest person in the community could be living in the same block as somebody that didn't have nearly the resources. It didn't make any difference. People would walk around the blocks and visit and go up to City Square and for Friday night band concerts and then Saturday concerts, and City Square was the hub of activity, a symbol of community for Chaska. 2 weeks after I graduated from college, I went to work at 3M, and I was there for 35 years, and we used to go up to do some planning up in northern Minnesota at 3M's retreat, and we gather on the steps for an annual picture, and 3M was a big part of my life. Two things really stand out for me at 3M. One is that it always took a long view, but very strategic in terms of thinking about its future. And then it cared about its people deeply. I always felt proud to be a 3M employee. that had a lasting impact. And somebody said, have you ever thought about the city? And I said, getting involved with the city? I said, no, not really. A couple of weeks after that conversation, I had to go get we needed a variance for something we were doing at our home. And they were, the city council was working on their budget. And they were talking about how many shovels to get for public works. And I thought, whoa, maybe, the long view might be a little bigger than that. And maybe I could help here a little bit. When I got started, I really had a deep belief in the importance of thinking about the future and what we wanted to be. What's our vision for the future? So pretty early on, when I was mayor, we did a retreat and we spent a long weekend and spending time thinking about what is our future. So we wanted to be the best small town in Minnesota. Chaska received the top 10 places to live in the United States for towns under 50,000 people. We talked about City Square and the symbology of City Square as a gathering place for the community. In a more modern way, Chaska Community Center was a project that was part of our city facilities plan. It was exciting because in a modern way, we could bring all people, all interests, all backgrounds, all ages together. And it was a definition of community. We just cut the ribbon for the West Creek apartment building. It's the home now for young adults, 18 to 29 years old, that are coming out of homelessness. We've had it, working on it almost 4 years. We formed this community asset foundation. We built some assisted living facilities, and we basically took the dollars that were generated from projects like that and invested them back in trying to meet a need in our town. So West Creek is giving hope and possibility. That little saying that, may the comfort and safety of this home today provide hope and possibility for you tomorrow. I believe that we're all builders of community. Every one of us, all the people sitting out there, each one of us is a leader. It gets down to the values you have. If you believe in the impact of having a clear vision for the future and the importance of having a set of beliefs or values that support community, if that's what's important to you and it's at risk, then it seems like that's what we have to invest in. That's why the Community Foundation is so important, because it's about engaging people and building community. And that's what it does. It provides a vehicle for all of us to be able to do that. Just recognizing that we all have a role and we all can make a difference is part of the message, I think, of tonight. That, how can we each invest time or a skill or a resource to help our communities be stronger.
So, I was going to invite Bob up here to say a few words. I know I'm going to regret it, but thank you, Bob, for being with me.
Appreciate it. I told Kai that he said you have 7 minutes. I said, I don't think that's going to work. I believe Paul Melker in a previous life was a first boy cheerleaders for the Laconia Chiefs in high school. Good old Paul. Great job. It's an honor with Mac and Tunes and with Paul to be recognized tonight. And I knew the set some people was going to be tough. And we'll get through it, but I just want to say thanks for the recognition. It means it touches your heart. And two things I want to do tonight. One is, I want to say thanks to a lot of people that in this journey of building community that I probably haven't done a very good job of. Thank you. So I want to do that tonight. And then I want to talk about building community and the foundation also. So let me just say thanks to my family here tonight that's here, my brother Daryl, his sons Jared and Mark, and Daryl's wife Harlan. Tom Rumpke is here, Sam's, we lost Sam last year, but Tom was here. Traveled a long way to get here, so I appreciate that, Tom. And Margaret, my sister-in-law, Kathy's sister, my wife Kathy, and my daughter Ryan. So it is a strange feeling when I do come back in this room, because on May 12th of last year, I was here very much talking to a group like this, a large group. And we were talking about building community, raising some dollars for Chaska High School for the activities and athletics department. And I sat down and I leaned over to say something to the person next to me at the table, and my heart stopped. Gina Edison is in the room. Gina, along with some other people, knew CPR, basically saved my life. Kept the blood moving through me, got the AED, and shot me back. Went to the hospital. Emergency doctor came in the room. He didn't introduce himself. He just said, "I hope you understand how lucky you are." And I've never forgotten. I gotta admit, it gives me some pause that from the room tonight. It's a bit of an eerie feeling, but I did see Gina, so I had the courage to see Gina. So I do want to say thanks. I want to start off with going back. I grew up in Chaska, 204 Ash Street. We had a lot of fun on that street. We had a number of guys that I grew up with. And we played ball together. And some of them are here tonight. Greg Davies is part of the group. Tony Dungy, Craig Zimmerman, Tommy Schwalbe, they're here tonight. I saw Dwayne earlier. We used to play slow motion tackle football in the snow in the winter in Nashville. Remember that, Dwayne? When we run each other in snowbanks and go to Ivans Field and play hours and hours of wiffle ball. Oh, I that ball over the trees in left field. Remember that? Oh, it was fun. We grew up together. You know, it was very fun. Maybe the message of community night is they're still here. They sit at the tables, you know, 65 years later, still with it. From that time when we were young kids, having fun together. Thanks for the friendship. Thanks for the relationship. Thanks for being friends. I love you guys. I worked at 3M for 35 years. It was a time when I was at 3M, we probably had to be some employee, and we were proud to be an employee at 3M. They taught me the importance of that long view we talked about in the video. And the importance of that strategic kind of thinking. That big picture view. They taught me the importance of good leadership and what that meant. It's all about people. And, you know, we're able to take some of those principles, some of that thinking, and as we come back and build a community right here in Chaska. So thanks to 3M for that opportunity and that learning. I served with some wonderful people and on the city council with the city staff, wonderful dedicated group of people there for 20 years, and worked with wonderful city council people, Chad Doctor, a wonderful friend. friendship. Value that a lot. Bob Wendell, served 30 years. Tracy Swanson cracked that glass ceiling, first female mayor. Florence Olson, who's not here with us any longer, but a person of such character. An environmentalist before it was cool to be an environmentalist, and she was a special council person. Carol Mullen, we served with Carol Mullen, we lieutenant governor, and many more, but they all were there for the right reason to build a better, stronger, healthy community. And they were wonderful servants. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Dave Corney. He was the city administrator for 20 years, and he was like the CEO of the organization. We would talk about laying out the future, talking about the future, what we wanted to create, wanted to be the best small town in Minnesota. As we were going to grow, we wanted to retain the values of the small town. And Dave was the implementer. I was fortunate to work with Dave. We continued to work together on projects and really value that relationship also. MRCI is an organization out of Mankato that works with the disabled community, work with our 2 kids. And they raise up the disabled community as valued, respected members of the community. And they employ the disabled community out into the community. They do special work, they touch our lives. They've done wonderful work. I just wanted to recognize and thank them. Educators that are in the room are special people. Can't share love for educators and the impact they've had on our family. They are absolutely builders of community. I truly believe there's no more important role in this country than educators. The focus they have on the development of our children and the future of our country, of our communities. So they've been amazing, and can't thank them enough for all that they've done. And then for our family, for my family, to Kath. She is a battler. She is a warrior. When our son Ryan was going to middle school, I wanted Ryan to be in a protected class because he's disabled. Because I was concerned about his vulnerability. Daddy said, no, he belongs in the mainstream. He needs to spend some time there learning from others, modeling his actions after mainstream kids. That's because before mainstream was mainstreaming. Educators weren't trained yet for that, but they were willing to do it. Kathy insisted, and she was right. It was such a help to Ryan. And it was a help to the mainstream kids. We got letters. Years later, we got letters from those mainstream kids talking about the experiences they had working and learning from our son. We went together in the late 60s. That's when a Lutheran boy wasn't supposed to go with a Catholic girl. I said it was a battle, that's not a strong enough term. It was more than a battle. Remember, I bought that big rock from an engagement ring from T-Liner Jeweler on Main Street in Chaska. It was really more like a little pebble. Somehow during this courtship I had with Kath, my dad ended up with the ring. I thought, this isn't how this is supposed to work. But we battled together. And we'll be together 54 years next month. So, thanks, Kath. I love you. To Robin. Robin's here. Robin's the happy one. Robin is the joyful one. The most important thing is Robin's a cancer survivor. She's a cancer survivor. She's her brother's best friend and protector. And there's no bigger Minnesota Viking fan than Robin. She is the and I said, she's a joyful, happy girl. They're 2-0. She is really happy. And I'm really she'll listen to her cheer in our house when the Vikings are playing. Come on, defense, you can do it. And she's still, they're heading her down to US Bank Stadium. And Ryan's not here. It's not too big a crowd. He'd be anxious if he saw his dad talking. He'd want to get out of here. Maybe some of you would follow, I don't know. But he'd be really anxious. But Ryan, I tell people when you get to community, passion you have for community building. But Ryan, I tell people, Ryan is my mentor. We see how it feels, how it makes Ryan feel, how it makes us feel when he's treated with value and respect for who he is. So why wouldn't that work for anyone else? Why wouldn't that work for people that are new to our community? Why wouldn't it work for people that look different or sound different than we do? Treat them with value and respect. Create that sense of belonging. It's just so important. It makes so much sense. So he'll crystallize that for me. And Ryan could walk in the room like, MRCI, had some work, and he was in a place, a location where they all came together and did some work. And Ryan could go in the room with the most challenged adults, and he wouldn't see that. He wouldn't see those challenges. He would just see right to their heart. He would just look in his gentle, kind way, in his very pure way. You can see the best of them. You would greet them with value and respect. And I was in awe of that. And I've learned so much from Ryan. He knows that, but he has taught us and myself an awful lot about what community really means, and the building of the community. And I would just tell you that one of the proudest titles I have is to be Ryan Ron's proud dad. So, after that, just want to talk a bit about, the importance of building community. That's what we're doing tonight. We're celebrating philanthropy. And right here tonight, we're building community. That's what this is all about. The challenge is, where do we go from here? Building community is not a program or not a project that has a beginning and an end. It's an ongoing effort. It truly is a journey. There's four key things, four key beliefs that help shape my view in this journey of community and building community. One is that I believe most people want to live in a community. I tried to understand this a number of years ago with the city. What attracted people that call a place home? Well, they wanted quality education for their children, and then they wanted to live in community. They wanted to know their neighbors know them. They wanted to look out for each other, care about each other, support each other. I believe that's still true today. I believe all of us can be and are builders of community. We have that capacity to contribute, to engage, to build a community. I believe we're all leaders. Doesn't mean we have to be a CEO of an organization. We have to be some level of elected official. At the very least, we lead ourselves. We lead ourselves and make decisions about what are our priorities. Where are we going to engage? What's important to us? Is community important to us? Can we engage? We lead ourselves. And I believe it does take a village. We make these individual decisions, but if we collectively can share a vision, if we can embrace that concept that it takes a village, we can be successful in almost anything we do. I've always been attracted to the quote that says, you can tell a lot about a community by how they deal with those in the dawn of life, our children, by how we deal with those in the twilight of life, our aging, by how we deal with those that live in the shadows of life, the sick, the needy, or the disabled. I think the challenges are how do you shine that bright light of hope and possibility for those that live in the shadows, that don't have much hope and possibilities. I think we talked about the West Creek Apartment Project, and it's one of the joys of working together with Dave Still on a project like that. That's 19 units of housing for young adults coming out of homelessness, giving them hope and possibilities. You walk in the front door and there's that saying on the wall that says, "May the comfort and safety of this home today provide hope and possibility for you tomorrow." That's what it does. That's what good communities do. Now we have a community foundation for Carver County to engage people, to connect resources, to address community needs, community issues, and build community. So the challenge becomes, what do we do? You know, what's possible? I think sharing the vision and engaging to build community is important. I think sharing the values that support that vision, that kind of vision of engaging to build community, the values of valuing the human worth and dignity of each and every person, demonstrating respect for each other, being responsible in all our actions, sharing those kinds of values, and then sharing the pride for what that achieves, for the community that builds. So if we all share those vision and values, if you believe that living in community is important, can you cheer for this work? Can you be a champion for this work? Can you ask yourself, how can I engage? How can I contribute? How can I invest? How can I reinvest, as Emma and Chris talked about, in our community, in building a community for everyone? Because there's no more important time than today, than tonight, than right now, to say, let's go. We're ready. So, what it takes is all of us working together. It takes that village, it takes a village approach. I believe that's really true. All of us working together. And all of us kind of rowing that boat in the same direction. BJ Fleck is right. It generates a lot of power and potential when you can harness that energy, when you can do that. And we will be successful. If we do that, we can be successful, because we live in Carver County. We're living in the wealthiest county in Minnesota. We're living in a county that believes in community. We're living in a county of 11 towns that have a strong, small town sense of community and want to sustain that and grow that even stronger. So that's our opportunity. So as we leave here tonight, I just ask you to share the vision, and share the values, and share the pride of the possibilities and the potential of the community for Carver County, the community foundation for Carver County, to build community for everyone. And if we can do that, we will build stories upon stories upon stories of building healthier, more engaged, more active, more vital, energized communities for generations and generations and generations to come. That is our opportunity. I shall forever remember tonight. And it touches my heart, hopefully the healthier, to talk about the building of community, because we all can share that vision and share those values and build community together. There is no more important time. That is our opportunity. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
money is just a tool. It's a means to an end. I want to share a story of why all of this is so special to me personally. I come from a first-generation immigrant family. We came over to the States in '75 during the Vietnam War. We didn't know English, of course. We didn't have friends here. We literally only had the clothes on our backs when we came over. But the small community of Bellevue, Nebraska opened up their arms and they welcomed us. They helped us find a place to live. They helped us find jobs. It wasn't easy. Mom and Dad had 2 to 3 jobs at any time to provide for the 6 kids. We didn't have a lot growing up, but what we did have was community. They surrounded us with care and love. And that mattered to us. That matters to me. And that's why I'm standing here today. Because it's been a long journey. And just like the camping trip that I was on, I am reminded that this journey that we are all on is about being intentional. Whether that's embarking on a 3-week road trip across the states, or dedicating decades of your life building this community. What we do together matters. What we do together matters. Today and tomorrow. And let's keep showing up for each other, big or small. Together we can make sure that Carver County remains a welcoming and thriving community that we can all be proud of to say and call it home. So thank you for tonight. Before we let you all go, our board chair Donna wants to say a few final thoughts.
Robin, I'm right there with you. Skull, right? Okay, I want to congratulate those 2024 award winners. You may or may not know, but I have a connection to each one of you. Paul Melkert's father officiated my parents' wedding and actually baptized me and my siblings. I also remember the flocks of chickens he kept by the parsonage. In my career, I was very privileged to have mutual clients with Paul and his firm, and I was always willing to refer clients to them, knowing that they'd receive the best advice. So from one Benton bomber to another, congratulations to you. As a little girl, I remember very clearly going to the Mac and Tunes grocery store with my mom across the street from St. John's Church in Laconia. Kim, I can still picture your dad pulling balloons out of his pocket to give to the little kids. I think I was one of them. My family has been a loyal customer of Mac and Tunes for decades, following them from store to store as they expanded and grew, yet you always maintained your outstanding customer service. And Bob, you might not remember this, but I was a young news assistant for the Chaska Herald back in the mid-1980s. I remember many times Mayor Repke would stop, storm, one of those, into the newspaper office on 2nd Street to have a talk with the editor of the paper.
No, I don't remember that.
Those talks were unsurprisingly lengthy. But Bob was sure to get his point across to those who were reporting the news of his beloved city of Chaska. One of last year's honorees, Roger Storrs, mentioned in his acceptance comments that his dad told him and his siblings that as you grow in age, you should have done enough to leave the world in a better place when you entered it. Now my dad, who was a good friend of Roger's dad, fellow farmer, fellow ice fisherman, was pretty wise too. He always told me to take the high road. When I was confronted with obstacles and life's challenges, I have in turn used that phrase often in my career and repeated it to my children as they were faced with obstacles and decisions of their own. I think God should have made those two pieces of advice extra commandments. Thou shalt leave the world in a better place, and thou shalt take the high road. I think we'd be in a better place if people would follow those rules too. I mention those priceless pieces of advice because, as some of you know, our executive director, Kai Trent, will be leaving the Community Foundation at the end of this month. Kai's been a blessing to our foundation. He's worked hard to increase the number of funds and assets that we hold and manage. He's made many new professional connections, and he grew the foundation in a way that we haven't seen before. Thank you, Kai, for always taking the high road, and for leaving the foundation in a better place. Your above-board integrity, hard work, and commitment have been invaluable. We want to thank you, and we're going to miss you.
So that wraps up our time this evening, folks. We are so thankful for each and every one of you to share your evening with us, to celebrate and honor individuals and companies that really make up the heart of our communities. How about one more round of applause for Paul, Bob,